Café Anyway. Hello there.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hello, I'm Mike Matthews. Welcome to Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Rootabega.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's episode 2847, and how are you? I'm singing this song, and I know it sucks, but did you know that I have information that's going to make you so full of happiness, and it's like a libation
Mike's Daily Podcast
for your brain. Did you know that people are spending more on
Mike's
well, you do know this,
Daily
on food away from home?
Podcast.
It's ridiculous to eat out these days.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you own a restaurant. I own a restaurant. I own Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. And it is absolutely ridiculous how prices have gotten so high, so big for stupid things that cost, $4 in the past, now have doubled. And especially fast food, and it makes no sense at all why we still eat fast food in California. Oh, because we're hungry, Mike, and we want something delicious. Okay, your pocketbook's gonna be empty, your wallet's gonna be empty, and then I don't know where you're gonna get your money from. The government stealing what? A wealthy benefactor? America is becoming a country that cooks less and eats out more, is what Rob Black has told me. I produce his podcast. He is heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings and on television Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour on Cron TV. And restaurants, from fine dining to fast food, will make $1.1 trillion this year, the highest figure on record. But the hottest corner of the retail real estate market is the restaurant business.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And I must tell you, I'm so happy that this particular podcast is not choppy. The last podcast was choppy. It got a lot of choppiness because of the thing that was going on with my computer. I don't know what it was on yesterday's show. It was just like something was sucking all the bandwidth in my computer and causing the recording apparatus not to work. It was awful. But the podcast picture is not of any of that, or the computer, or my recording apparatus or anything. It was of a really cool place in Podcastro Valley. And the late great Basil the Boxer went there many a time. It's called Castro Valley Boulevard. And there was a big car show there this past weekend. So unfortunately, Basil no longer with us, but my lovely lady friend and I went. And here's a picture from it. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there. It wasn't working on Saturday for some weird reason. I had to talk to my web provider and all that. And thankfully, it came back on Saturday. So it is still, as of this recording, up. And it's there for you to enjoy. There's a lot there at mikesdailypodcast.com, all Mike's Daily Podcast related things. You can email me if you email info@mikesdailypodcast.com. And of course, there's also the Gmail account, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
No, I am bald because of genetics, if you must know. But thanks for bringing it up, egg. Wait, don't they call bald people eggheads? Wasn't Vincent Price, he was a bald guy on that bad... That wasn't a bad... Well, I mean, it depends on what you call good. And what you call... Rocky the cat wants to jump on my lap ever so badly. But the way I'm sitting here, he's got no room. My lap is not a welcoming place at the moment. Okay, go explore around Podcastro Valley and the Café Anyway. Yeah, he played a character called Egghead. He was a villain. I don't know if that was from the comic books or was something Vincent Price made up. I don't know. But it was in that Adam West old-timey, comedic, campy Batman from the 60s that had a great song think Jan and Dean wrote it, didn't they? It just says Batman over and over again. But ooh, it feels like the 60s. It feels like the summertime and the beach and dancing and weird camera angles and all that fun stuff that made that wonderful TV show wonderful. So, the hottest corner of the retail...
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
That's a different 60s show. 50s, 60s show. Was it 60s? Lost in Space? Oh, Rocky the cat is really exploring all kinds of things. Rocky, what I was talking about was the hottest corner of the retail real estate market is the restaurant business. 19% of all leases are because of restaurants. Now, don't forget, during COVID, a lot of those places closed up. A lot of that was going away. The restaurant business was on the decline, and it had to adapt. Because before, okay, yeah, we'll do some food that people can take away or take out. The Brits say take away, we say take out, but now we say take away as well. So thank you, England, for influencing us after we influenced you on a bunch of other nonsensical things. But yes, so people got used to of course, the Uber Eats and Lyft Eats and DoorDash, etc. were Toast and the rest were all involved in getting food to people, getting food to the masses, and they didn't have to sit in a restaurant, but they could still pay the great high restaurant fee. Well, then restaurants started to charge more because they're like, oh, COVID.
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
Oh, Mr. Microphone. Oh, inflation. Oh, and up the prices have gone. 53% of household food expenditure is now spent on food that is not at home. We don't buy groceries. We instead buy food in a restaurant and either eat there or take it with us. That is up from, if we go all the way back to 1997, as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. What was the most popular song in 1997? I'm guessing it wasn't the Macarena. That was a little earlier. 97 was some of the... Was it a country artist? Was it Faith Hill, Shania Twain? Something like that around that time?
Roller.
I don't know. Anyway, Café Anyway.
Anyway.
It was probably some very famous person that I will not be able to find on the fly with this computing device in my front of my face in 1997 was How Do I Live? Oh my gosh, Leanne Rimes. I was right. It was a country artist. Although that song didn't make it to number one on the country charts, the song that got popular on the country charts, it was How Do I Live, but it was sung by Trisha Yearwood. As of this recording, the wife of Garth Brooks. I've met both of them, both very nice people, from what I remember. So, back to the 53% of the household food expenditures now spent on food. 53% of what we spend on food is spent outside, taken from restaurants. But it was only 41% in 1997. So it has definitely increased. 12% if you're counting from 1997. Some of you weren't even alive back then. You children of the 90s. You're interesting people. We have some fun chats, you and I. How do we eat out? Why? Why do we eat out so much? The how is very easy because you can use an app to get the food sent to you. And that was, of course, during COVID as well. But to actually go out and eat, which is a great thing because people weren't doing that during COVID. They couldn't, in California particularly. Thank you, Gavin. Oh, and thank you, Gavin, as well for raising the part of the reason why prices are so high are because of you. Because now minimum wage is $20 an hour for places that are fast food franchises.
It's a trap.
It is a trap. Fast food franchises more than a couple fast food restaurants, they got to pay more. If you're an individual mom and pop, you don't fall under that rule from what I understand. But why we eat out so much, of course, number one is convenience, consumption. It's ready to eat, no prep. We love that because we're lazy or we're busy or both. We're lazy busy. Other reasons include the 2-earner household. So there's more money there to just, we got it lying around. Let's just use the money. Nice for you. There's also a foodie culture that has never gone away, and it will never go away. And foodie culture wants to explore different types of foods that aren't made by the foodie person. There's also people making higher incomes that want to eat out. And that is particularly true. I knew a guy I was friends with. I guess I'm sort of a...
Mike is awesome.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for letting me read what you wrote here. Okay, and I did my obligatory for today's show. But yes, there's a friend I don't talk to much anymore, but every time we met up, we'd have to eat out, and it would always be someplace way too expensive. The bill would come to the table, and I would never do the whole, I'll take care of this. Don't even worry. Don't give it to me. And the fight over the bill, because the bill would be it'd be like, okay, let's just split this because this is crazy expensive. And for what we got, for what we paid, we got pittance for what we paid. Oh my gosh. And my friend would be, but this place is the newest place. It's the hippest joint. You got to go here. Everybody wants to go here. We got in. And now we're eating. And the food was every place he ever took me or said, let's meet and eat there on his wild idea. This is his great idea. Let's go eat there. Every single one of those restaurants, it was way too expensive, and the food was not worth what we paid. And I don't remember it. I don't remember anything we ever ate, ever. Except once, I think there was some egg that was deep fried. I thought was kind of interesting. I'd never had one of those. Do they call it a quail egg or something? Or a drunk egg or a bar egg? Something to that effect. So who cares? That's how memorable it was. And this last reason, cheaper and more available fast food, is not true here in California. So I don't know where that reason got thrown into that list. But what Rob was saying is food is increasingly an experience that America is willing to splurge on, regardless of how high the price goes. Taylor Swift's show in Scotland triggered earthquake readings. Her sold-out concerts at Edinburgh, and I think, did they say Edinburgh there or Edinburgh? I've heard it both ways. A line from Psych that was often used, a catchphrase, if you will. But it was. I've watched a lot of British shows, and I thought I heard it said that way. Well, the sold-out concerts Taylor Swift's doing there triggered earthquake readings up to nearly 4 miles away. Scientists noticed that her fans dancing generated 80 kilowatts of power, or 6,000 car batteries of power, which comes out to about $106,000 worth of power. This summer, her tour is set to add $1.27 billion to the British economy. And she has 8 shows coming up most probably all of them are done or just about done. This set up Taylor Swift at this one particular place. They set up a Taylor Swift fan hub and created a tailored taste trail involving more than 40 local businesses offering Swift-themed cocktails, pastries, deals, and activities. Which, if Taylor was coming to your town, and this was the most absolutely well-known tour in the world, bigger than the Chewbacca tour that happened at some point. Probably didn't, but I can't even think of a tour that was as big as this, as maybe... now, see, I really didn't go to many concerts as a kid. I've gone to concerts throughout my life, but again, something not memorable. But that's all right. There was a couple good shows that I still remembered. I went and saw Richard Marx at the Ventura County Fair in 86, 87, somewhere in there. Then years later, in the early O's, I met Richard Marx at a party, and I told him, I said, I saw you in 86, and you sang Lean on Me. And he goes, oh, and I pointed at the moon, didn't I? Yeah, I was just about to say that. He said, yeah, that moon was amazing that night in Ventura. So, okay, some tours are memorable. I don't think anyone remembers the Richard Marx tour of 1986. Maybe there was I want to say that maybe Genesis had a very big tour that everybody was talking about. Phil Collins in that time frame. 90s O's. I mean, Beyonce had some very big tours when she was out touring. Of course, she had competing tours last year. Yes, it is funny. Mike Matthews knows these kind of things. And I was invited by the same friend that liked eating at expensive restaurants and splitting the bill. He invited me to a Beyonce concert, and I didn't go. And because I knew he would want me to split the bill. No, I'll take care of it. No, that's what you said now. Oh, he was also the type that would tell you something and then flip around and go back on what he said. So, next thing you know, you're paying for a Beyonce show. I'm sure it was a fantastic show, but this was a couple years back. And I only know a few Beyonce songs that I know and can sing along to and enjoy. I know she has quite a library and a catalog that people love, and Taylor Swift does it well.
What was that all about?
What that was about. But back to whenever a big tour like this comes to town, you definitely want to cash in. If you are a restaurant or hotel or some establishment, you could do something that has Swift involved. Now, I don't know if she comes at you like the Super Bowl people do, and when you say the word Super Bowl anywhere in your ad for whatever, they come after you and want money. I don't know if Taylor does the same thing, but the Eras Tour spanned 22 countries and 152 dates over 21 months. It is the highest growing concert tour of all time, surpassing $1 billion in revenue in its first 8 months. Yes, $1 billion it surpassed within its first 8 months, not even a little bit over half a year. The world's second highest grossing show was Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour that over 5 years accumulated not 1 billion, but pretty close, 939.
Hi there, Mike, how are you?
Thank you for asking and interrupting me right as I was giving that number. $939 million. Okay, and the latest news with Taylor Swift is with the tour, and we won't go into her and Travis or anything like that. Let's see. That is, she said, I guess she debuted that song Carolina and the manuscript. All right, well, it says here, Taylor to end record-breaking Eras Tour in December. Okay. So her massive worldwide Eras Tour will end in December. I see. So after all of those 22 countries, 152 dates, and 21 months, she will say that it ends in December. Okay. And then the other news about Taylor, Joe Alwyn broke his silence on their split and long-loving relationship. And that's all the Taylor Swift news. I promise I'm ending that part of the show at this point. because I also have to mention that Starbucks is copying the fast food playbook with its new $5 and $6 breakfast combos, pairing a coffee or tea with a croissant or breakfast sandwich. It's a surprise move to copy McDonald's burger.
What is the matter with you?
What is the matter with Starbucks in the fast food world is they're losing customers because of everything I was talking about previously. It is a surprise move to copy McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. We'll see if that actually happens in California because, once again, Starbucks is a franchise. They will have to pay their employees $20 an hour, which I think they were, but I don't know for sure. I did apply for a job there, and I was much too old. And then I was much too impatient with the whole application process on their website. Oh my gosh. The amount of questions to answer and tests to take, etc. As the heat goes up this summer, so do cooling costs, and heat waves now happen 6 times a year on average. That is up from twice a year during the 1960s.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
During the 1960s, which I think that movie came out in the 69, 68. The average cost could be $719. That is an 8% increase from the same period a year ago. And you are not the only person in regreeting that last purchase via social media. 3 in 4 people have made an unnecessary purchase, and 63% of people said they regretted a purchase. And they mentioned it on social media, because that's how we tell the world about everything, like I'm doing now on this podcast. And I have been doing so on this podcast for over 10 years. Every once in a while saying, I did have that segment, why the hell did I yelp that? Which you have heard me to play a little sounder of before. Where, I don't know, I guess I talked about stuff that, why did I go to that restaurant with that guy, that friend of mine that likes to go, and because he's a foodie, he's got to eat out all the time, pay crazy prices at these way overpriced restaurants, that whole thing. I hope you have friends that are cheap and that they don't mind picking up the check every once in a while, or maybe you guys just eat at each other's places and make stuff. Learn how to cook is my whole point for this podcast. Learn how to cook. It will serve you well. I was practicing messing around, excrementing. That was after I ate what I ate, but experimenting was the word. And I did not do that verb I just mentioned previously. I didn't do that right away. It took a little while, but enough of that talk. That's not what this podcast is about. But I did experiment with tofu, the firm tofu. And you can do some amazing things. Don't try frying tofu. No. It's much too unhealthy and too much of a mess. But baking, cookie sheet, take the tofu, the firm tofu. You can take it, freeze it after you buy it. Take it out of the freezer, throw it in the microwave for a little bit, just so that everything gets a little bit, that you can get the water out of it. You cut open the package just a little bit, push all the water out over the sink. Take out the tofu, try and get some water off of that, but you don't have to go crazy. I've seen some people on YouTube get the paper towel.
How's the mic, Mike?
It's excellent. Thanks for interrupting is the verb I wanted. Interrupting me yet again, asking me why I'm bald, etc. You're annoying, sir. So you pat down the tofu that's firm, and then make a couple of slices. Bam, 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 bam. You're going to look like little Spam slices. And then you put it on the cookie sheet. And the amazing thing about tofu is it soaks up flavors. So you put soy sauce on it, it's going to taste like soy sauce. You put barbecue sauce on it, it's going to taste like barbecue sauce. You put a little pepper, salt, it's going to taste like that. Whatever your seasoning of choice is, that tofu will suck that up. and then you bake it, and then you've got it's not really crispy, but it is soft. But my gosh, you can do amazing things with it. We joked about tofu. All my old-timey parents and grandparents, oh, tofu, that's such a California hippie thing. No, not anymore. You walk into Costco, it's right there. You can get a whole bunch of it in bulk, throw it in the freezer, use it when you need it, and you don't have to feel bad about killing beautiful little chickens that want to peck your eyes out, or cute little pigs that want to root through your garden. Actually, there are some amazing pigs that I saw recently with my lovely lady friend near this meadow close by to me. And it was like a whole family of wild pigs. And I stayed away from them because they told me, stay away from the wild pigs. They'll attack you. They're crazy. They're maniacal.
Right.
But they're so cute. And cows, come on, those eyelashes. Cows got nice eyelashes, don't they? Or am I thinking of ostriches? It's definitely ostriches. Anyway, Café Anyway, tofu is an amazing food. And try cooking with it. You'll be impressed. And I also, with that same meal, chopped up some bell peppers, onions, and squash. And even some sweet potato. And put it all there. And I used a little bit of, it wasn't olive oil, it was grape oil. So that all added to it as well. Got a note from Nick Roth. Nick Roth is the director, writer of a movie called Hanky Panky. No, I know there's an old-timey Hanky Panky movie that came out like in the 60s or 70s or something, 50s maybe. But no, Nick Roth, he is a professor at Cal State University, Northridge, talks about movies in his class. Well, he put together this very funny movie, very off the wall, and he contacted me, and I interviewed him on the podcast, and I think you can find the interview on my website, mikesdailypodcast.com, if you click on the home button and go to interviews M through R, because it's under his name, Nick. And you'll see Nick Roth, and you can hear the interview. He said, we just dropped Hanky Panky on Tubi. You've heard of Tubi, Tubi. You can watch all kinds of movies and old TV shows on there, possibly the old Hanky Panky movie. But now you can see his new Hanky Panky movie, which has nothing to do with the previous Hanky Panky movie, because he wrote it, and it's off the wall, and it's interesting. So if you would be up for, he says, reposting anything of yours, of ours today or soon, or really whenever, it'll be on Tubi forever, Tubi. So post this on socials or wherever we're at Hanky Panky Movie is where you can find out anything about this movie. With like a, hey, now this movie is free. And he says, then we would be immensely grateful. Oh, his wife is in this movie. A bunch of their friends. So anyway, Café Anyway, it is on Tubi TV, and look him up at Hanky Panky Movie. And he's also on my website, mikesdailypodcast.com. Look who's here. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. Hi, I'm doing it about my horse. It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what? I think that all this stuff y'all were talking about with the stuff regarding fast food, I think is wrong. I think we should eat fast food, except for French fries, because those come from France. And I don't trust the French ever since that thing they did back in the 90s with where they didn't help us blow someone up or something like that. Okay. Excellent. Holding a grudge. It takes a lot of work. So good luck with that. Look who else is here. Hello, man. Can I make delicious root beer pasta right now? Ah! All right. Once you're done pouring it, okay, you're not good. All right. Oh my gosh, what is in that? Man, I put some lemons in it. Ah! Now that technically make that a lemonade instead of a root beer, but thank you. My lovely lady friend and I watched Obliterated on Netflix, and speaking of off the wall, not quite as off the wall as Hanky Panky, but still very bizarre, and a lot of gratuitous body parts in this, from both genders, or should I say all genders, included in this movie on Netflix, which you would expect on Netflix. I can't stand anything on Netflix. Really. This show, though, my lovely lady friend wanted to watch it, and it is so out there. I'm like, all right, how crazy can this get? And it's an action-oriented thing, this troop of people, army, I don't know, Marines, whatever they are, going after someone who's going to trying to blow up a nuke in Las Vegas, a nuclear device, thermonuclear device of some sort. And they got to try and disarm it. And it's something like 10 episodes long. It's a bit dragged out. It is very gratuitous, very just too much. It's over the top, everybody is saying. So I don't know. I'm almost done with this. And I'm telling you definitely, no, I'm not saying probably. I'm saying definitely do not watch this with younger children. But it just goes to show just about everything Netflix puts out is crap. Even the documentaries, I know they hit on some things that might be educational, but a lot of it definitely has a bent that is trying to target a type of person that enjoys Netflix, let's just say. And I don't always agree with the way they interpret history or journalism in their pieces that they do on Netflix. But that might just be me. What is you? You can call me.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Tell me what you think about all of this. And you can also find out everything else related to this show and myself, Mike Matthews. Mike's Daily Podcast. All that information, we go to the A-Frame, who is at the mainframe, and she will tell you more.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.